भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। So continuing with discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, Creation of Kumaras and Others, text number 23. So previously we read Kumaras were created, Rudras were created, 11 Rudras, and then 10 more sons. Last son of Brahmaji was Narad Muni. Text 23. Utsang Narado Jagye Dakshu Angushtat Swayambhuva Pranad Vasishta Sanjato Bhrigustochikarat Krituhu. Narad was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vasishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from his thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kritu from his hand. Narad was born from the best deliberation of Brahma because Narad was able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he liked. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge or by any number of penances. But a pure devotee of the Lord like Narad can deliver the Supreme Lord by his goodwill. The very name Narad suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Nar means the Supreme Lord, and the means one who can deliver. That he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that the Lord is like a commodity that can be delivered to any person. But Narad can deliver to anyone the transcendental, loving service of the Lord as a servitor, friend, parent, or lover, as one may desire out of one's own transcendental love for the Lord. In other words, it's Narad only who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means for attainment of the Supreme Lord. In fact, this is a special prerogative of devotees of the Lord, that they can give bhakti. Even the Lord, whenever we get a chance to study Nectar of Devotion, we'll see over there, it's clearly said, Lord does not give bhakti to anybody. Krishna doesn't give bhakti to anybody. It's his devotees can give bhakti to anybody they like. So that's the special powers of a devotee. And not just give bhakti, they also control the Lord. Controlled by the loving service, controlled by their by the love. And the control doesn't mean for any exploitation. Control means Lord becomes they're like he doesn't want to leave those devotees. So that's why Krishna does not give himself or his bhakti to anybody and everybody. But devotees, his servants, his devotees can do it. It's okay. They can do it. They are given special rights. And from first canto, where we studied Narad Muni's previous birth, how he was a little boy and he used to live with his mother, and once some Bhaktivedantas came to their house, and Narad Muni served them for 4 months, and he used to take their remnants. And afterwards, his mother died because of snake bite, and then he left the house. He was a little boy. He left the house, went towards Himalayas, and at Himalayas he was doing tapasya. And Krishna appeared to him, gave him his darshan, and then said, "That's it. You're not gonna see me again till the end of your life, but you continue with the tapasya." And Narad Muni, from that age till the end of his life, he continued with this tapasya. And result being, he became Narad Muni. And Narad Muni, now we are studying about Narad Muni, how Brahmaji's deliberation he was born, and he is the most exalted son of Brahmaji. Pulho nabhito jagye pulastya karnayo rishi angira mukto akshano atrir marichir manaso abhavat. Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Dharma stanna dakshinato yatra narayana swayam adharma prishtato yasman mrityur lok bhayankaraha. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. And irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. That religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant because religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as the Bhagavatam. So religion means devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Many times, because of exploitations or bad behavior or crooked behavior, not so transparent dealings of religious people, general common public, they become averse to following religion. Other day I met somebody and that person was like, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. So everybody has inclination towards spirituality because ultimately soul is inclined towards that. But religion people try to run away because of bad experiences. But we don't understand. So spirituality and religion, they go hand in hand. Actual religion. Spirituality is we want to make progress. Religion is how do we make progress. And here Prabhupada says religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead. Spirituality means I want to learn more about myself, the self-realization. But without devotional service, how do we know anything about myself? It will all be theoretical. In Bhagavad Gita, the last instruction is to give up all other engagements in the name of religion and take shelter of the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms that the highest perfection of religion is that which leads to the devotional service of the Lord, unmotivated and unhampered by material impediments. Religion in its perfect form is a devotional service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected one. When one is attacked by an enemy, one is apt to endure attacks from the back and protect himself carefully from all attacks on the chest. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma, whereas real religion, the devotional service of the Lord, is generated from the chest, the seat of Narayan. Anything which does not lead to the devotional service of the Lord is irreligion. And anything which leads to the devotional service of the Lord is called religion. So religion means devotional service. Religion doesn't mean I'm Hindu and I'm Muslim and I'm Sikh and this is my religion and I'm going to kill anybody for this and I'm going to fight for this. Well, actual religion means a devotional service, loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Are we developing devotional service? Are we developing love for the Lord by following any particular particular kind of religion or faith. Actually, these are all faiths, they're not religion. So, any particular faith, if we are following, and are we developing love for God? That's a $1 million question one should ask. And the other day we read, love for God means love for all His creation, love for all His entities also. So if we are not, we are trying to follow the religious principles. We haven't come to that stage yet. Text 26. Hridi kamo bhrava krodho dobhascha chadharacchadat asyadva sandhavo mela nririti payor ghashreyaha. Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyebrows, and greed from between his lips. The power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. A conditioned soul is under the influence of mental speculation. However great one may be in the estimation of the mundane education and learning, he cannot be free from the influence of psychic activities. Therefore, it's very difficult to give up lust and the desires for low activities until one is in the line of devotional service to the Lord. It is very difficult to give up lust and desire for low activities until one is in the line of devotional service to the Lord. See, like the three modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. And most of the people, and almost all of the people, most of the time, they are under the influence of passion and ignorance. To remain in the mode of goodness, it's very, very difficult because the whole atmosphere is of passion and ignorance. So to remain in the mode of goodness and even go beyond it, it's one has to keep on working, work hard, just like athletes do. They work hard. They have their routine schedule, how to work hard, how to work out, to remain fit, to remain to retain the strength, bodily strength. So similarly, for the devotional service, until we work hard, we work out, not physically, but spiritually, the spiritual practices, until we do that, we are bound to fall in the mode of passion and ignorance. And if we are in the mode of passion and ignorance, we have to come out of it, at least to the mode of goodness, if not beyond, to perform in devotional service. It's easier to fall down than to go up. And it's a natural progression of the modes. It pulls you down. So the mind, it's very easy for the mind to go towards passionate and ignorant activities, then towards goodness, activities in the mode of goodness. So that's why Prabhupada is saying it's very difficult to give up lust and desires for low activities. It's very difficult. It's very easy, very convenient for the mind to go towards those activities. When one is frustrated in lust and low desires, anger is generated from the mind and expressed from between the eyebrows. Ordinary Men are therefore advised to concentrate the mind by focusing on the place between the eyebrows, whereas the devotees of the Lord are already practiced to place the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the seat of their minds. So Prabhupada, it's so easy. Like the devotees of the Lord are already practiced to place the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the seat of their minds. Already practiced. So that is actually the definition of a devotee. So we can see for ourselves where do we stand. And even from pranic healing, even in those classes we used to discuss, when we perform these spiritual activities like meditation, in that healing we are supposed to perform meditation, and in Krishna consciousness we perform mostly main activities chanting, but reading and other activities are there. So by these activities, our crown chakra or the upper chakras, they open up and the energy comes, the spiritual energy comes gushing down actually. But if there is no proper place for the energy to stay in the upper areas, it definitely will go down. And when the energy goes down, it basically goes towards the sex chakra. Because this is where the energy goes and flows and stays there. So that is why, according to pranic healing, or according to the books of the pranic healing, those who are practicing spirituality, they have high tendency, if they are not careful. That's very important, to be careful. If they're not careful, they have very high tendency to go towards lower, baser activities, because their sex chakra gets activated very fast. So it's better by our practices and by our continuous practice, we keep the energy, that spiritual energy that is coming because of all our practices, to keep the energy in the upper areas, in the upper region of the body, not let it go down. So there are different ways, but one has to be very, very careful of this, because it definitely goes down to and then activates the sexual chakras. The theory of becoming desireless is untenable because the mind cannot be made desireless. When it is recommended that one be desireless, it is understood that one should not desire things which are destructive to spiritual values. A devotee of the Lord always has the Lord in his mind, and thus he does not need to be desireless, because all his desires are in relationship with the service of the Lord. The power of speaking is called Saraswati, or the goddess of learning. And the birthplace of the goddess of learning is the mouth of Brahma. Even if a man is endowed with the favor of the goddess of learning, it is quite possible for his heart to be full of lust and material desire, and his eyebrows to display symptoms of anger. One may be very learned in the mundane estimation, but that does not mean that he is free from all low activities of lust and anger. Good qualifications can be expected only from a pure devotee who is always engaged in the thought of the Lord, or in samadhi with faith. So, from devotees or from spiritual people in general, It is expected. Good qualifications and good behavior, good nature. But if they are not careful in utilizing this spiritual energy, they can fall to the victims of the desires of lower chakras. And this is what Prabhupada is writing. Lust and anger. Many times you see spiritual people getting angry very soon. And although we are studying in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam that these are the qualities one should develop: patience, tolerance. So, so the idea is to keep the energy up on the upper levels, upper chakras. But at the same time, some energy has to go to the lower chakras for their proper functioning. Otherwise, they'll get depleted. So the balance has to be made. So the lower chakras also get the energy, but and this is one of the reasons. If the lower chakras do not get the proper energy, then they get depleted, and that's where all the diseases happen. That's also another problem. So balance has to be made. Balance is very, very, very much necessary. So one would say, what is a what should one do to keep the lower chakras properly in place? So one thing is exercise, regular exercise, especially for spiritual people on the spiritual path. So the energy gets balanced between upper and lower chakras. And like in South India, this now it is called super brain yoga, but it is popular. It's very popular in South India, like holding the two ears and doing Utthak Baithak. So that one should do. Actually, that is super brain yoga. It keeps energy up and it balances out the energy. So you can do Google search on super brain yoga. YouTube videos are there, and one should do that. Don't need to do every day. Maybe once in 2 or 3 days. That is good enough. Text 27. Chayaya kardamo jagye devhutyah patih prabhu manaso dehatash chedam jagye vishwakrito jagat. Sage Kardam, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented unalloyed by one another. Even in the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the modes of passion and ignorance, there is sometimes a tinge of the mode of goodness. Therefore, all the sons generated from the body or mind of Brahma were in the modes of passion and ignorance. But some of them, like Kardam, were born in the mode of goodness. Narad was born in the transcendental state of Brahma. So Narad was at a different level from the beginning. And Kardamuni, although he is born, it is said, he is manifested from the shadow of Brahma, but he was in the mode of goodness. Text 28. Vacham duhitaram danvim swayam bhur hartim manah akamam chakme chattah sakamiti na shutam. Oh Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body, and who attracted his mind towards sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Balvan indriyo gramo vidwan sanapi karshati. It is said that senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Therefore, it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. So senses can make somebody so crazy because senses are so strong. Even in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, Krishna says Arjuna, tells Arjuna that the senses, especially the mind, they can take away the intelligence or wisdom of a person easily. Vayur navam imam bhasi, that was a shlok. Just like now, a boat, when it is rowing, when it is uh, on water, the strong wind can just take the boat here and there if the boat is not properly anchored. So same thing with the senses, very very strong. And that's why Prabhupada says it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. The senses can create havoc actually. In fact, Prabhupada himself, his sister Pishima would come to see Prabhupada in Mayapur. And that time Prabhupada was very old. But even when Pishima would come and see him, and Pishima was also living in Mayapur temple, but Prabhupada would ask one of his disciples to be in the room whenever she comes to see him. And the disciple would not understand anything because Prabhupada and Pishima would talk in Bengali. But Prabhupada would tell him, no, you sit here. You sit in the room. Just sit, be at the corner, but sit there. Because Prabhupada was following this instruction. So not living alone with one's mother, sister, or daughter. So very, nothing against ladies. There's nothing, it doesn't mean. All it means is the mind and the senses are so strong. They're very, very strong. They can take away the intelligence or the right wisdom of a living entity, even though the living entity is trying very hard to control them. Of course, in fanatical terms, somebody can say, no, so something is wrong with this, with ladies. That's why it is said that. And that's why the ladies are abominable. We should not even look at the ladies and or whatever. They should be wearing this burqa, or they should be doing this or that. All it talks about the senses of the person who's trying to make spiritual progress. So if something is wrong with me, no matter how much I cover the other women or ladies, my mind is the one that is dirty. That has to be cleansed. That has to be controlled, not the other person. But being of weaker sex, they have to bear the brunt of all the nonsense rules. Even in our movement, I'm sorry to say, there is one temple in our movement, current movement, ISKCON, where it is funny. It's in India, where if we go at the time of Guru Puja, their rule is men will offer the flowers and pay obeisances to Prabhupada. And Guru Puja will go on. And after the Guru Puja is over, then when the men turn towards the deities, then the ladies can go and offer their obeisances to Prabhupada. And why? Because when the ladies offer obeisances to Prabhupada, their ankles show up, and it can create some disturbance in the mind of the men. especially brahmacharis. Well, these kind of rules were not there when Prabhupada was there. Because brahmacharis are so weak, then they should not be living in the cities. They should go to a forest. But again, fanaticism can lead one to make so many rules, which doesn't help actually. Only help will get by giving the higher taste to the mind, giving the higher taste to the senses, and sincerely trying to perform devotional service. But at the same time, as I said, the lower chakras get activated when somebody is really working on spirituality. So balance has to be made. Balance Balancing of energy in the body is to be done very, very strictly. That is why, although I'm digressing a little, that is why when we chant, especially chanting, because so much of energy gushes in, we feel sleepy. Of course, the mind becomes peaceful, true, but there is so much of energy in the upper part of the body. If the body cannot handle it properly, the body feels sleepy. So that's why just get up, walk around, do some exercise, and start chanting again. Let the energy go down. But again, energy should not go down that much that it activates the lower chakras too much. So balance has to be made. Okay. Maitreya hesitated to state this anomaly on the part of Brahma, who was sexually inclined to his own daughter. But still he mentioned it because sometimes it so happens. And the living example is Brahma himself. Although he is a primeval living being and the most learned within the whole universe, if Brahma could be a victim of the sexual urge, then what of others who are prone to so many mundane frailties? This extraordinary morality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa. It doesn't happen every day of Brahmaji. But it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam, that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. This indicates that before the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, he might have fallen a victim to such sensuality. But after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. So this happened one day of Brahma, sometime, long time back. One should however, take serious note of this incident. The human being is a social animal and is unrestricted mixing with the fair sex leads to downfall. Such social freedom of men and women, especially among the younger section, is certainly a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual progress. Material bondage is due only to sexual bondage, and therefore unrestricted association of men and women is surely a great impediment. Maitreya cited this example on the part of Brahma just to bring to our notice this great danger. Actually, here Maitreya Muni just spoke about it in one or two sentences, and one or two shlokas. So here Prabhupada rightly is saying that there should not be unrestricted mixing between men and women or between girls and boys, and that will definitely lead to downfall. But at the same time, one has to understand why this downfall happens because of our weakness. So we have to work on our conditioning of the mind, and that's it. That's all. But from this incident of Brahmaji, what had happened, his daughter, here it is said Vak, she had taken the form of a female deer. And she was just roaming around in that area where Brahmaji was sitting. And Brahmaji saw her in the form of female deer. So somehow this sexual urge happened in his mind. And he took the form of a male deer and went after her. It is mentioned that Shivji was there, other sons of Brahmaji were there, and sons of Marichi Rishi were there. Marichi is son of Brahmaji, and his sons were there. So Shivji, although he is son of Brahmaji in this universe, he appears in that way, but his position is different from Brahmaji. He is on a higher position in terms of realization. So he chastised Brahmaji, and he could do that. He chastised Brahmaji. That, what are you doing? It's not proper. Other sons of Brahmaji, they knew their position as son of Brahmaji, so they could not chastise Brahmaji. So they started praying to the Lord to give right intelligence to Brahmaji. But the third, the sons of Marichi, they started laughing at Brahmaji. There are 6 sons of Marichi. And this, because of their laughing at Brahmaji, they committed an offense. So one, if depending upon one's position and relationship with a person, with a devotee who might be doing something wrong, it is possible. It is Kali Yuga, and it's very difficult to control the urges. So one, based on his position of authority or relationship, if somebody has personal relationship with a devotee who is undergoing some hardships, one can control, one can try to give him some good counsel. But if that is not the case, then one can always pray to the Supreme Lord to give the devotee in question some nice intelligence so he can come out of it. Or we can pray to the Lord to give him some protection so he can continue with his bhakti. But these 6 sons of Marichi who laughed at Brahmaji, they committed offense. And because of this offense, they fell down. First, they took birth. I'm not remembering. Is it 2 times or 3 times? They took birth from the womb of mother, and they were killed by their own uncle. So I'm trying to think, was it first, did they get killed by Hiranyakashipu or not? But they definitely got killed by Kansa, because they were the 6 sons of Devaki who got killed by Kansa. I believe first they got killed by Hiranyakashipu also. And some stories are there in Puranas. But those were the 6 sons of Kansa who got killed by, 6 sons of Devaki who got killed by Kansa. So the offense, Vaishnava offense, is very, very dangerous. Text 29. Tam adharme kritam matim vilokya pitram sutah marichi mukhya munyo vishrambhat pratyabodhayan. Thus, finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. See? The sages like Marichi were not in the wrong in submitting their protest against the acts of the great father. They knew very well that even though their father committed a mistake, there must have been some great purpose behind the show. Otherwise, such a great personality could not have committed such a mistake. It might be that Brahma wanted to warn his subordinates about human frailties in their dealings with women. This is always very dangerous for persons who are on the path of self realization. Therefore, great personalities like Brahma, even in the wrong, should not be neglected. Nor could the great sages headed by Marichi show any disrespect because of his extraordinary behavior. So Marichi and others, they protested, but with respect. And this is what Prabhupada is saying. It's proper etiquette because he's saying such a great personality could not have committed such a mistake without some great purpose behind the show. न तत्पूर्वः कृतं त्वद्दे न करिष्यन्ति चापरे यस्त्वं दुहितरं गच्छेत् अन्निग्रहाय rajam prabhu. O Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You are the supreme being in the universe, so how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire? The post of Brahma is the supermost post in the universe, and it appears that there are many Brahmas and many universes besides the one in which we are situated. One who fills this post must be ideal in behavior, for Brahma sets the example for all living entities. Brahma, the living entity who is the most pious and spiritually elevated, is entrusted with the post next to that of the personality of Godhead. So this is the supermost post in the universe. Because this is only the post, supermost post on which a living entity would come and occupy. And that's why the sons of Brahma, Marichi and others, they were little surprised. And like Marichi here says, never attempted by any other Brahma. And this is what Prabhupada is saying. And nor by you in the previous kalpas. So look at the consciousness of these sages. They knew previous kalpas also happened. And they knew the stories. And other Brahmas, other universes also there, they knew that. Tejiyasamapi hiyetanna sushlokyam jagadguru yat vrittim anutishtan ve loka kshemaya kalpate. Even though you are the most powerful being, this act does not suit you because your character is followed for spiritual improvement by people in general. It is said that a supremely powerful living entity can do anything and everything he likes, and such acts do not affect him in any way. For example, the sun, the most powerful fiery planet in the universe, can evaporate water from anywhere and still remain as powerful. The sun evaporates water from filthy places and yet is not infected with the quality of the filth. Similarly, Brahma remains unimpeachable in all conditions. So Brahma remains unimpeachable in all conditions. Here in America these days, they're trying to impeach President Trump, saying he did something wrong, although he's a topmost at the supermost post of America. But Brahmaji is still unimpeachable. You cannot blame him. But still, since he is a spiritual master of all living entities, his behavior and character should be so ideal that people will follow such sublime behavior and derive the highest spiritual benefit. Therefore, he should not have acted as he did. So, definitely, there is some higher purpose behind it, why he did so. तस्मै नमो भगवते यदं स्वेन रोचिषा आत्मस्थं व्यञ्जयामास सद्धर्मं पातुम् अर्हति. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May I also protect religion for all goodness. Lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears herein that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination, in spite of the appeal by his great sons like Marichi. Therefore, the great sons began to pray to the Supreme Lord for the good sense of Brahma. It's only by the grace of Supreme Lord that one can be protected from the allurement of lusty material desires. The Lord gives protection to devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental loving service. And by his causeless mercy, he forgives the accidental fall of a devotee. Therefore, sages like Marichi prayed for the mercy of the Lord, and their prayer was fruitful. So that is the right approach, actually. Saitam grinata putran puro drishtva prajapatin prajapati patistannam tatyaj vridis tatatada tam disha jagruho ghoram niharam yad vidustamaha. The father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, the seeing all his Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later, that body appeared in all directions as a dangerous fog in darkness. The best way to compensate for one's sinful acts is to give up one's body at once. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by the personal example. Brahma has a fabulous duration of life, but he was obliged to give up his body due to his grievous sin, even though he had merely contemplated it in his mind without having actually done it. He didn't do anything, but he just thought of it. Even that thought is so so strong and so wrong. Okay, here it is said that he gave up his body. So he did not give up his physical body. He actually gave up that consciousness, subtle body he gave up. And because it was, as Brahmaji, he did so much of tapasya, so he had that power. He just gave up that consciousness, the subtle body. It's gone now. No more acting in that way. This is a lesson for the living entities, showing how sinful an act it is to indulge in unrestricted sex life. Even to think of abominable sex life as sinful. And to compensate for such acts, one has to give up his body. In other words, one's duration of life, blessings, opulence, etc., decreased by sinful acts. And the most dangerous type of sinful act is unrestricted sex. Ignorance is a cause of sinful life, for sinful life is a cause of gross ignorance. The feature of ignorance is darkness or fog. Darkness or fog still covers the whole universe, and the sun is the only counteracting principle. One who takes shelter of the Lord, the perpetual light, has no fear of being annihilated in the darkness of fog or ignorance. So fog, why fog? Because in fog we cannot see anything properly. And or the darkness, one cannot see. So once the sun is up, first rays of the sun, even the sun, we don't even see sun, just the sunshine we see, a glimpse of sun we see. The fog is gone, some darkness is gone. So the knowledge is very important. So sunshine is compared to knowledge. So knowledge is very important, taking shelter of the Lord is very important, and then only we can give up these sinful activities. So anyway, I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, brother.
Prabhuji, Marichi was also son of Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the previous shlokas.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
In the continuation of that question which Vinay Prabhuji has asked, this Marichi is the same जिसका जिक्र रामायण में आता है?
नहीं, वो मरीच है.
अच्छा.
रावण जी का मामा, रावण का मामा, right?
Okay, the
That is
different.
Marich, not Marichi.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
वो similar name है ना,
Similar,
Marichi,
no?
Marichi and Marich.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question, a slight clarification, and not from today's verse, but yesterday we covered about 11 Rudras. So, by any ways, are these the 11 Jyotirlings that we have in present day India, Prabhuji? 11 Rudras.
I don't know.
Relationship, no?
No, I don't know. Maybe there is relationship. I don't know.
And chakras that we talked of, Prabhuji. So, is it only that during chanting that it becomes very heavy, or occasionally when we hear about the Lord as well, those chakras can be very heavy and kind of fall on our head?
Yeah, they not fall on our head. It's when we do the spiritual activities, a crown chakra, it opens up and lots of spiritual energy comes down from the universe, because we are engaging ourselves in those spiritual activities. Now we have to hold that energy properly. That's all.
And because of that, the sleepiness comes in, as is what you said, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because there's so much of energy in the upper part of the body, especially the head and the eyes, that part.
Thank you for clarifying, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Very good.
A nice background today, Prabhuji. I'm trying such.
Thank you.
I want to have it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, you all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.